Afternoon, members of Spiritual Encrypted Encounters, uh, also Positive Spiritualist, and Spiritual Encrypted Encounters on YouTube. How's everybody doing this afternoon? It's hot as hell here in Texas, uh, but that's okay. I've been in worse weather than this, heat-wise, while I served the United States Army. I've trained in all kinds of weathers. I'm just making a video uh, this Friday, early Friday evening video for whoever would like to join in the conversation today. Let me send a couple of invites out to see who want to view this video. Send a couple of invites out real quick. You're making noise. Fix it. Sorry about the interruption, brothers and sisters. How you doing, Sister Joanne? I'm just shutting off this iPad that keeps on making noise. It is off. How are you doing today, Sister Joanne? As for me, I'm hanging in there. You know, as y'all know, I lost a family member this 2 weeks ago. I was already going through my own things physically, what I was going through with my conditions, and I got a lost my brother-in-law 2 weeks ago, and he's been gone for about 3 weeks now, I believe. It's 3 weeks now. Uh, I wanted to talk about that in general, brothers and sisters. You know, when people want to focus, and not just that, I want to talk about everything else that's been happening. It's been happening all the world, around the world, but people don't take the time out to really see what's happening in our world. Just like you hear of Uvalde, Texas, where all those children uh, that got murdered by the gunman, that went into a church, into the school. I mean, how is he going to go into school? They got security, right? Well, they got to have some form of security, and they did that. It's just right now, brothers and sisters. Like I've been saying all along here on Spiritual Encrypted Encounters and in Positive Spiritualists, it's about the openings that we leave ourselves to. You know, just like there's people that are good, like me and you, that we get placed in people's life to send a positive message. There's other people that have spiritual openings where they're being, uh, how should I say, misled by the unseen forces in which they make them do those kind of acts, whether it be acts of murdering somebody, doing something to somebody, or uh, even take their own lives. That exists in this world. Uh, but like I said before, it has to do with what people leave themselves an opening to. This spiritual war is more real than a dogman, a Bigfoot, a Mothman, or whatever kind of creature you want to think of. This unseen spiritual war is very real. I was viewing this video of this guy. I'm not going to mention his name, but he's a film producer, and he's got like a bunch of videos that he's created. And he's got images of supposedly a Sasquatch, right? Uh, and all the videos and all the pictures that he's placed out to me. No, I'm this real talk with Abe Seas. I'm not here beat around the bush. To me, all the pictures that he has of this supposedly Bigfoot is actually him uh, with makeup on, whether it's a black camouflage makeup or it's him. You can literally tell it's this guy, and for all the people that he's deceiving, you know, deceiving, and this how this world is, bro. So there's so many people they cannot understand reality from spirituality. They don't understand that. They're blinded to that. I guess if it keeps the conversation going about something that might believe that it's real, then they're going to place it out there, even though they know that it's the guy in the makeup. You can literally tell if you look at a facial structure of a person, you can literally tell it's this guy. It's a shame, and I'm glad it's not here on the spiritual side. This is happening in the cryptid community, where you got people that we call them hoaxers, right? Or people that are being fraudulent. Uh, I won't say his last name, but I'll say his first name. His first name is Todd. If you look under Todd and Bigfoot and you Google that, it's gonna come up with all his pictures, and you can literally tell it's him in disguise as a Bigfoot. You know, you can literally tell it's him. I mean, I can understand maybe if you could have used somebody else to pretend to be a Bigfoot, but you can literally tell in the video that it's this guy. You know, and saying that, when when somebody like that, that Bigfoot ain't gonna bring no danger to nobody because it's not a Bigfoot. It's a person pretending to be a Bigfoot. So it's not gonna bring no harm or nothing to anybody. And like I said before, if you want to send me a private message, I'll give you the name of the individual, so you can Google it, and you can tell in all these pictures that it's him in makeup or him in disguise as a Bigfoot. Same facial structure, the same look. It's this guy. It's people like that. Uh, whether he's doing it as a hoax or doing it as a comedy stunt, whatever the reason he's trying to do that, or to see how many people he can trick. I mean, I just gotta if he ever views this video, I just gotta say, man, you can tell it's you, bro. In every picture that I've seen that of you, different years, it's the same you. So I don't buy that. That's a big for pictures. If something, you need to come uh, to the truth, and if you're living a life that you think you're a Bigfoot or you're trying to deceive people to being a Bigfoot, then apparently you have some serious issues. If you have to pretend to to be a Bigfoot to just to try to get people to believe that there's a Bigfoot, you know, and I mean I understand if you had a different person portraying to be a Bigfoot, different heights, but this Bigfoot that you played numerous times, placed that even you with a camouflage face paint on your face. You could tell that it's you, bro. And the guy's name, I'm gonna say it. His name is Todd Standing. If you don't believe me, brothers and sisters, about this guy, he's a fraudulent person. His name is Todd Standing. Uh, he makes films. He's like a producer. He makes films saying that he's on the hunt for Bigfoot, and he's got pictures of Bigfoot. But if you compare his picture, his face, and to the Bigfoot pictures that he has, it's him it's him in makeup, literally. So I'm just talking about this fella because I seen this in another group, and I'm like, people complain about a picture that might have a blur or something that might look like a ghostly apparition that's coming out of the photos, kind of like the photos I place or some other people might place, and people might call those photos collages, but I just don't have the photos. I also have the video where I'm going slow motion and I'm looking at the movements, of the things that people want to go to blush, compared to a picture of somebody that's taking a picture of himself and putting himself in camera, uh, and you can tell it's him because it's got the same facial features, the lines on the forehead, the form of how he created the Bigfoot looks just like him, So you could literally tell it's a guy, it's him being. It's kind of like this when Robert Englund, right, the guy that portrayed to be Freddy Krueger, you could tell it's him, right, with the makeup, even with the makeup and all that, right, you could tell it's him because the way he stands, the way he looks, you could tell it's him, even with the burnt face, Well, in that sense of a way, you could tell it's this guy. So this goes to the other sites. How you doing, Sister Odessa? To the other sites, they're placing this guy out there to be that he's got this legit evidence. I'm just here speaking truthfully. You know, the latest picture I guess the place of him I guess is from it's called Bigfoot something that he created. He's him in camouflage paint, literally camouflage paint. You can see his facial features, whether it was him or somebody else pretended to him. You could tell it was camouflage paint on his face. I know because I used to be in the military and I used to put camouflage paint on my face. You know, I don't know how many people that never been in a military environment or been in the military, but those are the things that we would do when we go to train in the field. Like when you go train in the woods, right? You go in an offensive defense. If you're on ground, you camouflage yourself to be like the environment, so they won't be able to track you down. That's why you blend in, even in your Kevlar. You have little slits on your Kevlar where you can put brushes, bush, trees. Now they got equipment where it's a whole outfit where it's literally camouflaged and you can blend into the environment of the woods. Trust me, when when I was out there, I doing Sister Veronica. When I was out there training and stuff, uh, when I was witnessing what I was witnessing on Fort Hood, Texas, in Elms Grove Estates, I was thinking, so are those soldiers? At one point in time, I was thinking, could it be military, right? Could it be military uh, camouflaging themselves to look like this beast? Does the military have equipment like this? I know they have high tech equipment because I've seen it on Fort Hood when I will be out there on the tank trails. I had seen something. This is like in 1999 where I seen something walking in front of a tank, and it looks like the equipment had failed, and he was going in and out with different pixels, and he kept on like going in and out with different colors, in which it could have been military, right? So only God knows what kind of equipment the the military has. Imagine this: if they have equipment to camouflage themselves like this, don't you think that they might have equipment to be able to mimic voices, to mimic your voice, or something in that nature? I believe they do have this kind of things, different kind of technology or different technology. It just they keep it, I guess, to themselves, right? Because it's a high secret. You're not supposed to talk about too many things, but uh, yes, brothers and sisters, you just gotta be careful of. The only reason I'm talking about this fella is because I don't like people that are being fraudulent like that. Matter of fact, I had an open invitation for anybody to come to Elms Grove Estates for about 2 years. The only person that took it was some people that's in the show that took that, and they didn't even know about it. But I put that out there to all these people that are in the cryptid community, and none of them wanted to take the challenge or wanted to come to spend one night in Elms Grove so they can witness the activity that happens there. There's some that live near in Austin. They could have come and visited it. They could, but you know what? I understand why they wouldn't come and visit it because they came once before, and one of their family members got spiritually attacked, and that's the last time they ever came back because they know that there's something there that's in the spiritual in spirit form, which it means that it's something from another dimension, right? Hell realm, another, or people want to call portals, whatever you want to call it. Those things still exist. But I wanted to talk in depth about what's happening around the world where there's this portals are opening up. They're opening up everywhere, brothers and sisters. This portal's not just opening up in the woods. They're opening up in broad daylight right now, where whatever's coming out of that portal is, I'm going to say it, it's possessing people to do acts of evil. That's exactly what it's doing. If it can find a host, it's going to possess that host, and they're going to use that host to do its doing, and then it's going to eliminate the host. And that's exactly what's happening around the world. And it's been happening for a very long time. Just people cannot see these portals. They can't, I guess they can see it because they're too busy living life. Me, I have taken a big time out from doing a lot of things. That's why I'm making this video right now. And this this portals are open up. They're opening up to those that it can use, it can affect. It knows you, knows me, just like the Heavenly Father, the angels know who we are. The dealing with the balance, the unseen knows who we are also. So if you're not walking the right path and you're living in sin and you're not placing God first daily, He can use you as a negative host. It can attack you, and you'll wind up doing things like what the gentleman did up in Uvalde, Texas, or things where people just decide to say, "I quit in life." It's not that they're saying this, which leaves question marks behind, like why, right? But there's a bigger thing. Why? Why did this happen? And I'm telling you why. It's because the spirit, this portals are opening up, brothers. They're gonna, and it's gonna get worse. It's gonna be opening up, and many people are gonna be used as vessels of evil to come up against. And the reason this is happening is when this acts happen, to see if our love is gonna go turn into anger or hatred, right? Because when a negative act like that happens, somewhere within us, we're human. We're living here in the flesh. He wants us to be mad. He wants us to leave that opening so we can get spiritually attacked. So I say to you right now, brothers and sisters, whoever is viewing this video, we have to maintain that love foundation, regardless of what is happening around us or around the world. We see something negative happen, we have to pray against it. Uh, but we have to maintain our love. That's the number one thing. We have to maintain our love. We cannot go astray with anger or hatred. And that's what's happening in this world right now. It's a spiritual battle, you could say, between good and evil. The only thing I can tell you is this, brothers and sisters, that everybody is showing the truth. You even see it on TV sometimes where you see, I was watching this video where there was this little girl trying to get something in a commercial, and some energy comes out of her out of her eyes to get something with her eyes, that she had kind of some special powers. We're seeing all this, through movies and stuff like this. All this sorcery kind of stuff is coming out in the open. So it's like even that itself is, if you're seeing what you believe in it, that's an opening. So we have to be very careful of what we give an opening to. Just for example, you know, I'll give you an example. Just like Santa Claus, right? We know that's not real, or the Easter Bunny. We know that's not real. But in saying that, you can tell. I mean, I don't know what kind of IQ an individual has, but you can tell when somebody is pretending to be a Bigfoot, and you can tell the facial features that it's that individual. That you can tell it's manly. There's nothing beastly about the Bigfoot because they're pretending it's a male pretending to be a Bigfoot. If it's something beastly, then you'll be able to tell because you'll be able to see the beast-like form, right? But I mean, beastly is like an animal, whether it's a lion, a leopard, a panther, the facial, you'll be able to tell when it's something in that nature. Uh, just got to be careful what openings we give ourselves to because demons, right? The demons right now, they're working full force, trying to see how many people they can plant the negative seed to find that opening, not just to invade their foundation, but to invade the foundation of the loved ones. Like I said before, I've been battling spiritually now for about 3 weeks. Because I lost my brother-in-law tragically, and I'm doing better now. Like I said, I was going through my own personal things with my health, and I'm feeling a lot better right now. That's why I'm making this video right now to let you know to all my brothers and sisters, for y'all to be aware of what's happening around the world. And it's not dealing with what happened with my brother-in-law. It's dealing with how this unseen force is working right now. It's working in full strength and trying to destroy as many people, right, that it can. That's why it's important to talk about this to your neighbors, to your family members, to your loved ones of what to be aware. And the reason I'm talking to you about this because I know this battle exists. I've seen it all throughout my lifetime since I was a kid and all the way up to now. I know how I can deceive a person to making them believe that if it gives them some kind of powers, right? Or they offers them some kind of money that that they're gonna be something big or like a warlock, a wizard, a a witch, a grand witch. But at the end, at what cost are people losing their spirit, losing their soul for? Imagine how many people have gotten deceived by this unseen force in this way, where he tries to show you pictures, tries to give you an ultimatum. Like I said, I know that it exists because I dealt with it. That's why I'm talking about it. Uh, where it gives you an ultimatum, it tries to offer you things. I remember when I was young, it tried to offer me all the money in the world, that I could be the richest man in the world. But at what cost? At what cost, brothers and sisters? At what cost? What's more of value? Being the richest man on the earth? Because you got to remember one thing. We don't take nothing with us when we go to the grave. Everything that we have materialistically stays behind. We can't take nothing with us. And maybe to the coffin, I can take me this bracelets. But besides that, nothing is going to go with us in spirit. Everything that's immaterialistically here in this world stays behind. So what's more important? Being the richest man in the world or maintaining the love foundation, placing Jesus Christ first and allowing him to come into my life, into my foundation, so I can be able to ascend into his kingdom. I believe that's more important to me than anything that this world has to offer. And that's where a lot of people are being deceived right now. They're being deceived by the things this world has to offer. There's fame, money, you know. That made me do it. I did a show and I did it, but it was a show because of something that happened to me, and I wanted to reach out to people in a spiritual way to make them understand that when I was fighting spiritually, that I was always placing Jesus Christ first. I had maintaining my faith, no matter how many times I went through what I went through, how many times I fell, or I got dropped by an unseen force. I never lost my faith, and I wanted that show that I did for This Was a Haunted for people to see it this way. But the producers, of course, they're gonna do what they do, change things around, change the story around to what meets what they're trying to do. But that was my mission when I did that show, was to do it so people can understand that there is a spiritual battle in the balance between good and evil. Why did it target me? Maybe I had some unforgiveness. Maybe I had a spiritual openings. But at the same time, I thank God that I was strong enough to overcome the spiritual attack by this demonic beings. They came at me full strength. That I was able to deflect that, and I thank God that I survived. Uh, because of those spiritual attacks, that's one of the reasons I have the condition that I have. I believe, but because of that spiritual attack the spiritual attacks were happening for a long time. But I would just keep to myself because nobody would understand from my immediate family members or even doctors wouldn't understand what I was going through. But for those that have a Holy Bible with them, that have gone to church, they know about Jesus Christ, they know about how He has casted demons out of people that were being possessed or out of the sick, right? That's how demons work. They'll make somebody ill to try to destroy them, or they'll possess somebody and they'll get even more ill, but at the same time, it's trying to destroy the host. You got so many religions that say they have so many rules and regulations or an order they have to go through. But if Jesus Christ is with you and you place Him first, you have those abilities to overcome a demonic being or somebody that's being possessed in some kind of way. You're able to rebuke it in Jesus' name out of them. If you really have true faith, true love, and God is with you, uh, you'll be able to do the things. Not to take anything from anybody's belief or Christianity or religion, but there are some people that are within those religions that they're not true, that they have faults, and even those individuals, they won't tell you the whole truth. I know, I believe it was a certain religion that told me that was just a job for them. That and it was a religion that I was raised and born into. Went were helped 2 times, and they pushed me away 2 times when I was going through something spiritually. God is not going to push His children away from Him if they're praying to Him for an assistance. He's going to be there for them to assist them spiritually. That's what we do. We pray. We're going to prayer, right? So we can come and assist us. Uh, when we're going through something, it's not for us to go back on the same route where we're at, or go if we're on the bad road, go on the bad road. No, it's for us to maintain that, to make that change. We want to change. You don't want to go through the same things over and over and over, the same cycle at a daily basis, because eventually you're going to get tired. Two things are going to happen. If it's something negative that's affecting you in your life, it's going to turn your love. If you have love in your heart, and your love is true to everybody, if it's something negative, it's going to start tainting that love that's within you. It's going to make you change as an individual. It's going to affect you. I'm talking about negativity. It'll affect anybody, right? But if you maintain the love, and for example, if it's an individual, whether it be a husband, boyfriend, wife, or girlfriend, and you don't accept the negativity, you start pushing away. Two things are going to happen: either that relationship is going to last, or that relationship is going to break off because you if you like having a love foundation and that makes you feel good, you're going to go with what makes you feel good, right? That's why sometimes unionships, they go separate ways because it's not that it's the individual part, just it's how a person wants to be, you know. Just like how I want to be, just who I am. I've been like this for a very long time. Even though I joined the military or I've been through a rough life, that hasn't changed my love, my heart that I have with myself. I'm not a perfect person, but I am here for a mission. My mission is to try to assist all my brothers and sisters, try to awaken them spiritually, for them to maintain the love foundation. That's why I talk about a love foundation all the time. When you have a love foundation, that means you have to forgive, right? In order for the love foundation, the love to be great, you have to forgive. So you have to forgive anybody from your past that's come at you in a negative way. Once you forgive, then that love becomes even greater, in which you're doing God's work because forgiveness is part of love, in which all your other spiritual gifts are going to open up to you so you can utilize them, which is a spiritual gift of discernment, in which you're going to be able to see, hear, smell, speak, sense, anything spiritual around you. You're able to, when you hear something, that means that you're going to be able to relay a message to someone. Or if something's saying something to you, for example, it happens to me all the time when I go into certain areas and it tells me to leave. That's telling me, it's giving me a warning to get out of there. Sometimes I hear, and sometimes I hear something, but I catch it on the video, on the recording, where it's telling me some bad words, like bad words. Like it doesn't like because I'm in the area. That's one of the reasons I kind of hold back. I hold back from going back to certain areas. Taking a break from that, uh, because there's a bigger order, a bigger happening that's happening right now in the world, and it's the battle of the unseen. The unseen. How you doing, cousin Jesse Carvajal? How you doing this evening? Jesse Carvajal, my cousin, he knows what I'm talking about. He knows what I've been through in my life. He knows the trials and tribulations I had to face at a young age as a young man. Uh, how the enemy was coming directly at me, using other people that I knew, but because it was trying to take me out of this world. It was trying to take me out of this world, but I maintained my strength, maintained my love, and I made it. I survived it. I survived that. What should I say? An evil conspiracy that was coming up against me at a young age, and I'm here. Yeah, a lot of the individuals that were coming up against me, they're not here no more. They've been deceased for many years. That's one thing, brother and sister, that those people that came up against me. I'm talking about not just spiritual beings or demonic beings. They come up. People came at me. People that had openings. That's how it comes. So all these people that came at me in a negative way, I'm pulling up the Palo Santo out. All these people that can't have come at me in a negative way throughout my life. I forgave all those individuals because, like I said before, some of these individuals came in a negative way is probably because I had an opening, a spiritual opening, so they used to come up against me that manner. So I forgave all those individuals, and I forgive them daily. You know, because that's how it is in this world. It's not the individual. It's what's entering the individual, the opening that the individual had that used that individual as a vessel. Just like we can be used as vessels of goodness, as people that can be used as vessels of evil. Not saying that the individual was an evil person, but they can get possessed by these unseen forces because they had a spiritual opening. So I say to everybody right now, do not hate the individuals or even thoughts of wishing something bad about that individual because you don't know what actually happened to that individual that they might have been spiritually possessed or attacked and used in a negative way. The only thing we can do right now is pray for individuals like that, or if somebody lost their life because of an individual like that, we have to pray for the lost souls also, for the people that lost their lives. For example, what happened in Uvalde, Texas. We have to keep everybody in prayer because this is some serious stuff here, brothers and sisters. No, like I said, it doesn't want evil doesn't want just one person. It wants everybody. It wants to take as many souls as it can. So he's going to come after uh, whoever he can. You know, I guess that day the opening was there at the school. I just don't understand how he got in the school premises, or if the school has security or not. You know, there's a lot of things that leaves a question mark. But just like that, things could happen in a blink of an eye. That by the time you know it, it's too late. But that's why I say to you, and I feel saddened and my condolences to anybody who had lost a family member there or anywhere around the world. Uh, Whoever has lost anybody around the world, I'm sorry for your loss. Do not give in to the enemy and thrive with anger or vengeance or hatred. Do not give power to that because that's what it wants. It wants to turn your heart, your love into hatred. Do not give it the satisfaction. Do not give it that power over you. You're stronger than that, brothers and sisters. Like I said, and all the children that lost their lives, I know that God is a loving God. Like I said, they're angels now. They're angelic beings right now, and for some reason or another, whatever happened, they're going to be around in spirits as a guardian angel, guiding their family members, helping them out spiritually. That's one thing that no matter if the body is gone, the spirit will continue to live on, brothers and sisters. And I'm more sure that that all these children had a good heart. They were loving children, and that they're with the Heavenly Father right now. And He's going to use them uh, when the time comes uh, to fight spiritually, just like He uses all of us to fight spiritually. Uh, yes, brothers and sisters, the spiritual unseen warfare is very real. It's been happening for a very long time. As many whites that I would say as many whites as I have on my hair and my chin, but maybe it's as many whites as I pluck out with the tweezers that things like that happen, right? Uh, I've seen it happen all throughout my life. I know that. So if I've seen it happen throughout my life, and people before me have seen it happen throughout all their lives, that means that it's going to continue to jump from generation to generation to try to affect as many people as possible. That's why we have to let our loved ones know about maintaining the love foundation. We have to let our loved ones know like to make any kind of deals with these beings, that for them to know their self-worth, their spirit has a chance to make it into the kingdom of heaven and to live everlasting, forever. And that's what it is about, brothers and sisters. It's about the choices that we're going to make, to make it into the kingdom of heaven. You gotta practice, do the work spiritually. You gotta do the work spiritually to be able to know what to do when you get caught up in a spiritual situation. You can't just talk about something and not live it, not be what you say that you are. Kind of like me, right? You see me with this black tourmaline, see me with a citrine around my 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 neck. I got minerals all over the place. How did I started collecting minerals? It took a spiritual shove from the top of a cliff that I came tumbling down like 40 feet or 50 feet. I don't know how long it was, but I came on tumbling down from this ridge like Humpty Dumpty. I came tumbling down all the way down, and I went through some pain for about 2, 3 months. I was in crutches, but ever since that happened to me, it just made me stronger, right? You know how the saying goes, uh, doesn't matter how many times you fall, what matters is how many times you get up. Well, that's me. It's not how many times I fall down, it's how many times I get up. And I get up every single time that I can. I zone it out. When the thought of I can't tries to come into my head, I say to myself, I can. And you see it on my pictures that I post every day, Monday through Friday. The same pose, different poses, and I say the same message, getting it done daily. I'll say, focus and motivated. Well, I'll say, never give up. I try to send a spiritual message. Sometimes I say faith over fear, because sometimes in order for you to overcome what you're going through spiritually or physically, you had to have some faith or fear to be able to give you that encouragement to know. When my encouragement is that the Heavenly Father has blessed me to be amongst the living. He blessed me to come into this world, and that's my motivation and my strive to keep on going in life. It doesn't matter how many times my leg might hurt or my back might hurt. I zone that out. And I say, you know what? I'm going to continue to work my body out because I know that God doesn't want me to give up. If I want Him to use me as a vessel to continue to send positive messages, well, I've got to do that. I just can't say, hey, workouts, and I'm not doing nothing for myself, or say go walking or go lift weights, but I'm not doing it. How's that saying goes? In order for you to do it, you got to do the walk. If you're doing the talk, you got to be able to do the walk, right? Well, spiritually, when I do the spiritual talk, because I've done the walk, so I say it in that manner. Because I've done it, I've been there. Anything I've done, I've spoken about the military, I've been there, I've done that. So I know what I'm talking about. I'm not just talking just to say something. I'm talking, just sharing my spiritual wisdom and knowledge to whoever views here. Positive spiritualists stopped growing ever since, by all account, it got permanently deleted by Facebook because, I guess unseen enemy using people, right, came up against me and that account got permanently deleted. But I recreated this account under spiritual encrypted encounters in which that unseen enemies, since they were from the cryptid community, hated it even more. Because they say that it's people like me, they get bring the spiritual aspect out of things into play, that it's people like me that's giving the cryptid community a bad name, but I see it differently. The reason I see it differently is the cryptid community that's giving the spiritual aspect out of things a bad name. Because The cryptid community is leaving the spiritual aspect out of it, which there's demons and different angels that can manifest themselves into different beings, into different people, into different animals. In this nature, they can manifest themselves into that. And that's why I named it Spiritual and Cryptid Encounters that, and because it brought me into the cryptid community to do that show for Vic Conduff. They pulled me out of the spiritual community. And then since I brought the spiritual aspect, I started getting a lot of, when people talk about stop slandering people because you speaking the truth, I guess I must have forgotten when they targeted me and they permanently deleted my Facebook account for what they did to me. I guess I must have forgotten that I was brought into the spiritual community. I mean, to the cryptic community, and people targeted me because I started bringing the spiritual aspect out of it, in which I was trying to get people to awaken, to 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 be careful what they're believing in, because so long they're believing in it, that's opening the knees to attack your foundation, your immediate foundation, which is your body, your vessel. You hear it, man. I've seen it where a lot of people have lost their lives in the cryptic community that are out there knocking on wood, uh, looking for Bigfoot, looking for dogmen. They're not here no more. Why are they not here no more? Because they wasn't prepared spiritually. They was too focused in believing and giving something power to, whether they were giving power because they were believing in a Bigfoot, a dogman, a mothman, or whatever cryptid thing they were looking for, they were giving that power to. But what if what they give big power to decided to eliminate it out of this world, out of this picture? That's why they're not here, because they gave the opening of belief to it, and that's all it needs. If you're believing in it, imagine if you're believing in a Bigfoot. We didn't even say that. Yeah, imagine a Bigfoot, a gnome, an elf, a fairy. You give them power, something like that, and it's something else pretending to be that. Then he'd already got you where he wants you, because you're really believing in it. Because it's kind of like the guy that was pretending to be the Bigfoot, right? And his name was Todd Standing. You can see it's a guy, even through the makeup, you can see it's him because it's got the same facial feature of him. Well, in that nature, a demon is more trickier than that. At least him, we could tell it's him in makeup. A demon could literally manifest itself, even to look like you, to take your form. It's that tricky. But if you maintain the love foundation and you have you're forgiven and you're being blessed with the spiritual gift of discernment, then you're able to see through the fraud, or should I say, through the smoke screen of that demon. That's when you take the authority over it. You tie, bind, and rebuke it in Jesus' name and send it away. You let it know, because, like I said, you have more authority over them than they have over you, because we have a chance to make it into the kingdom of heaven. They don't. Their time here on earth is limited. But when that only God knows when the time is. But their time here on earth is limited. They're just finding a way, because they will never make it into the kingdom of heaven. Their fate is already sealed. So they target every single human being that they possibly can to try to, how should I say, trick us, right? Because that's what they are, tricksters. Trick us into giving up our opportunity to make it into the kingdom of heaven. That's what this whole thing started from. When the washers created somebody that created the Nephilim, they slept with a woman here on earth, then the Nephilim were eating everything, and committing all kinds of evil things on earth. Then that's when God they made Noah's Ark. Noah, he created the ark, put all the animals and people that he could take. That he was trying to let them know that there was a great flood coming. When that great flood came, all those Nephilim got destroyed. Everything that was evil got destroyed. Right. That's why I would say, do not dig up anything from the ground because all that was left behind. Right. Uh, but the disembodied got destroyed, and they became the Nephilim got destroyed. They became disembodied Nephilim, which are spirit, or they can change different forms and mist, smoke, vapor, kind of like elementals, right? The reason they can do that is because they're were part angels at one time, but then they became demonic. Now we know them as demons. People know them as demons. You want to call them the jinn because in a different culture, that's what they're called, jinn. And there's different names for them. There's so many, but they all have one thing in common: they do not like people with a love foundation. And their main goal is that there is mainly more of jealousy, right? They're jealous that we have the opportunity to live here in this world, but at the same time, we we, we have our own vessel. We're God's creation, and we have the opportunity to make it into the kingdom. And that's why they're causing all this havoc and chaos. Uh, See what people it can use that has a spiritual opening to cause some kind of havoc, something evil, and that's what they do. It's been happening here in our world for a very long time, and it continue to happen. It's just the bigger question is, when are my brothers and sisters are truly going to awaken to understand exactly what's happening in this world? When are they going to find their, how should I say, their way and understand what I'm talking about? And the reason I say that, brothers and sisters, because there's a lot of my brothers and sisters here in this world. I'm talking about spiritually, all my brothers and sisters that are being bonded by something negative, that are being bonded so they won't be able to see spiritually, smell, hear, see, feel. They're being bonded by this negative energies because he's trying to keep them away so they won't be able to awaken and become who they truly are born to be. If we're all created out of a love foundation, that means in our true nature is love, is love. If we're all created out of love, our true nature is love. That's what we are, spiritual beings of love. And love is the greatest gift of all spiritual gifts. If we don't have love in our hearts, then all those spiritual gifts of discernment are meaningless. Why are they meaningless? I'm going to tell you why they're meaningless. Because if we don't have love in our hearts, that means one thing, that we're being bonded, that our love is being bonded by this unseen beings that I just mentioned. And that would mean that if it's being bonded, I'm bonded, I'm not awakened, and he's got control over me. And that's how it feels, right? When something's controlling you, has control over you, bonded, not you feel bonded, you feel like a slave, right? That's what it is. A slave become like if you're a slave of this bondage, that you're not able to speak what you have to speak when you need to speak. But it's very real, brothers and sisters. I'm just here making this video, talking about this because I felt that I need to talk about this. Like I said, I'm not saying that other creatures, uh, the things that do exist in this world, or that appear to us that exist, that say exist, I'm telling you, is the spiritual beings that manifest themselves to to deceive, to leave an opening. If it can turn itself into a Bigfoot, so somebody can believe in the Bigfoot, and people are believing in the Bigfoot because that's what they called it. You know, I know it's Sasquatch, and I know that they got a different name, a native different name for it too. But even the natives knew the shamans knew that the Bigfoots are demonic beings. The shamans know this, that they're demonic beings. That they're and the Bigfoots that they talk about are Bigfoots. The Bigfoots can manifest themselves to even look as human, which they said there are demonic beings. Uh, I think there's a talk about werewolves becoming werewolves. I remember one time I ran into when I was in Germany. When I was in Germany, there was this female, and I was drinking a beer, and she was drinking a beer. Well, there was this female, and she was a gypsy, and she talked about how people could change forms and manifest into a werewolf. You know, there was a gypsy. But then I seen later on that night, I seen her true self. When I was talking to the gypsy, she looked like she was 20, 21. God, it was around my age. Well, I seen this gypsy woman manifest herself from a 20 to 21-year-old to an old lady. So, was it really her, or was it the old lady that made herself appear that way, which would be a form of a witch, right? I've witnessed so many things throughout my lifetime that I know there's a lot of things that exist, that there's different manifestations that, except people that were that made deals in some kind of way spiritually, that they might have been offered some kind of powers or something in some nature. You know, those people that normally sell those souls. Uh, I've seen this manifestations happen where I know that there's this that balance exists, but it's not about believing in what I've seen or giving it power. Is for me to understand about the balance and to know that we are greater. It doesn't matter how many manifestations or whatever it takes, that we're greater than that. All right. Well, check you out later, cousin Jesse. You take it easy. But yes, um, yeah, and also I was making this video also. Um, like me, I don't like to wish bad upon nobody in any kind of way. Sometimes that I pray against people that try to do negative things to me, and I say that I'm not receiving that, and I send it back because if you don't want something, you're going to send it back. So that I send it back to whoever sent it my way. He said it's dealing with a balance. There is people like that that believe in other things, and they come after people of faith. So I deflect that. I don't accept that because I don't accept no form of negativity, especially if somebody's wishing bad toward me or to my family. I don't accept none of that. So I send it back to the sender. Normally, when you send it back to the sender, and you don't allow that to affect your life, or maybe if it affected somebody in your life, right? For example, if it did affect somebody in your life, and he's still going back to the sender, he's going to go back 7 times fold. In which, if it was one person or 20 people coming up against you, well, it multiplies. So whatever the bad deed that wished upon you is going back to him. So that's just one of the things that I've learned uh, fighting spiritually throughout my life is when somebody wishes bad to you and you don't accept it, you continue your love on that, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. The Heavenly Father protects us. He comes and intervenes, and he takes care of the situation. So thank you, Sister Joanne, for joining me here tonight. I don't know what time it is right now, but I appreciate you and whoever showed up here tonight. Maybe one day that this is just a feed that I was doing right now, uh, because maybe one day when I do have time, I will place it a day earlier of the time that I am going to go live to maybe get more viewership. Oh yeah, brothers and sisters. I'm not here to go up against and anybody in any kind of way. I know there's people that or have pictures that they might not understand, but I see everything in the spiritual aspect. When it's in the spiritual aspect, it's not going to try to show itself to you in true form. Not unless you're truly spiritually blessed, you're going to be able to see what's there. But there's a lot of people right now that are being spiritually attacked in that nature, where they might hear something or they take a picture because it sees some kind of movement. But then when they look at the picture, it might be like a blur compared to when somebody is trying to be fraudulent and they might have a picture and it looks so realistic, but then it turned out to be the individual that took the picture in makeup, you know. And there's a difference between the spiritual and the cryptid. There really is not no cryptid picture that like an ape, right? They're saying that if Bigfoot will be a primate, like an ape, a picture of something that looks like an ape. Most of those pictures are people in suits or like I said, people with makeup on. The majority. I'm not, and since I'm talking about those kind of pictures, I want to bring the spiritual aspect out of it. I have my videos where I slowed down some of the thing in there, and the reason I slowed down because I could see some kind of movement. So I had to slow my speed times two or times three just to be able to get a screenshot of what I witnessed within the movement in my video. And it's not going to be a perfect picture because when something is moving in spirit, right, it's moving super fast. It's moving like how should I say, like a blink in an eye or how sunlight goes to daylight. It moves that fast. But if you slower the speed down, you might be able to capture something. Normally, when I capture something in my videos, it's to where I heard something or felt something. So I go back to that part of the video to see what I heard, to see if I catch any imagery, and that's where I catch a lot of my images where I heard something, whether I heard something move behind me or I heard something say something to me. Uh, I'll go there and that's where I catch the imagery. You know, like the area I was going to, I stopped going there because there is a lot of activity there. And I believe there's a lot of lost spirits, a lot of lost souls there. So I stopped going into the area because they were coming to my area. They were coming to my home. So I went and said, look, I'm coming to the area here. Just go come to my space, my home, and stay away. And that's what I've done is stayed away. The only reason I had gone into this certain location is because what happened with my dogs. They were acting strange, and I had already been had in this spiritual activity. Might have been a skinwalker, which is uh, something that did a deal with something. I was having that encounter happening, but all that stopped. The only thing I'm saying, brothers and sisters, is be careful what you believe in because it could be an opening. You're welcome, Sister Joanne. You're welcome. I just wanted to keep it to this right now. I haven't really I still got pictures I haven't put out yet. Like I said, I was going through something, and we all lost loved ones. Sometimes things happen in a way that we can't understand why things are happening, but that's the way life is. Life doesn't wait for nobody. It goes from a millisecond to a second to a minute to an hour to days and to weeks and to months and to years. Time goes by fast. So I guess my final thing I would have to say to anybody here that is viewing this life, it is live life, live your life. Don't be caught up uh, into something, into believing into something that might not even be real, but it might be something that's trying to find an opening on you. Don't be caught up on that. Enjoy your life. Uh, Stay active. Uh, maintain the love foundation. Uh, train your spiritual senses daily, brothers and sisters, because that's what's going to help us as we grow older. You know, as we grow older, we lose a lot of things that we're able to do right now, like working out. Still find a way and manage a way to working out. It keeps my senses very sharper and keen. Matter of fact, before I go, I'm gonna open up the Bible right here without even looking and see where it takes me to. Okay, well it had something in there, so let me do it again. I'm gonna open it up and see where it takes me to. Okay, here we go. This is Jeremiah 32. I'm just gonna read the scripture here before I go. See what it says. Sometimes God gives you a message that way that if you open up the Bible, it's going to send a message of maybe something that you're talking about or the message you're trying to send to. So he could, so he could, how should I say, so y'all can know that the message that I'm trying to send you is a good message. So I open up the Bible and I'm looking at the where he took me to, which is Jeremiah chapter 32. This is what it says. The word that came to Jeremiah from the Lord in the 10th year of the Syria king of Judah, which was the 18th year of Nebuchadnezzar. It says, for the king of Babylon's army besieged in Jerusalem, and Jeremiah the prophet was shut up in the court of the prison, in which was in the king of Judah's house. Says the king of Judah had shut him up, saying, wherefore dost thou prophesy and say, thus says the Lord, behold, I will give this city into the land of the king of Babylon, and he shall take it. And then it says, the king of Judah shall not escape out without the hand of Chaldeans, but shall surely be delivered into the hand of the king of Babylon, and shall speak with him mouth to mouth, and his eyes shall behold his eyes. And he shall lead Zedekiah to Babylon, and there shall he be until I visit him, says the Lord. Though you fight with the Chaldeans, you shall not prosper. Then it says, Jeremiah said, the word of the Lord come unto me, saying, behold, Hananiah the son of Shalom, thine uncle shall come unto you. He's saying, buy thee my field that is in Anathoth for the right of redemption, and thine to buy it. It's talking about land, right? You know how I was talking about anything we buy here in this earth, it stays behind. So then it says, mine uncle son came to me in the court of the prison according to the word of the Lord, and said unto me, buy my field, I pray thee, that Anathoth, which is in the country of Benjamin, for the right of inheritance is thine, and the redemption is thine, but it's for thyself. And it says, and I knew that this was the word of the Lord. And it says, and about the field of his from uncle's son that was in the Anathoth, and weighed him the money, 17 shekels of silver. Then it says, and I subscribed the evidence and sealed it, and took witness and weighed him the money in the balances. And it says, so I took the evidence of the purchase, both that which was sealed, according to the law and custom that which was open. And I gave into the evidence of the purchase to the son, because he's talking about a transaction that they made. So it's dealing with a transaction they made. But in saying that, brothers and sisters, it's some, yeah, you can inherit things on this earth, But I believe we've all inherited something in this. The inheritance that we have, brothers and sisters, is we're children of God and we're created out of love. Is our birthright to make it into the kingdom of heaven. That's our inheritance, and that's what I speak to y'all, Montana Love Foundation, at a daily basis, always, and not to give power to anything negative. That your self worth, spiritual self worth, is a lot greater than anything that anybody has to offer in this world, because we have the opportunity to make it into the kingdom of heaven and live everlastingly, like like his children as the angels. We all have that opportunity. So don't let nothing or nobody deceive you from your birthright. That's why I say to y'all, brothers, just always maintain the love foundation. But that's all for right now. How you doing? That's brother Michael up there. How you doing, brother? Sister? Fancy, I see him pop up there. But if anybody's got any questions or any pictures of anything they want me to view, you're more than welcome to send it. Uh, I'll let you know what I seen or what I'm sensing or of whatever you send me or whatever you want to talk about. But anyways, that's all for right now. Thank you all for tuning in. God bless every single one of y'all. And remember, be careful what you believe in. Give power to. Uh, and always pretend to love foundation. Everybody have a beautiful, blessed evening.